to work on this main structure here. Greetings and salutations, fellow pilots. This is Akirishin. In this video, I will be giving you ground attack pilots some love here by featuring the Ilyushin IL-20 Tier VIII ground attack aircraft, a Russian aircraft. It's a beast, isn't it? Looks like something out of a nightmare. It is an ugly plane, but you know what? It does ugly damage to ground targets, so that's what's most important, right? So the IL-20 is equipped with two 57mm cannons, which do 500 damage per second, so very high damage per second, with a rate of fire of 75 rounds per minute and an effective firing range of 1,200 meters. We are shooting from long range, folks, which is really nice as you're approaching those ground targets. The IL-20 also is equipped with a 23mm turret that does 192 damage per second. It has an effective firing range of 900 meters with a field of fire of 40, a gun elevation of 60, and a gun depression of -10. In terms of our bombs and rockets, it carries two bombs that do 7,000 damage each within a 90-meter damage radius. So 7,000 damage, that's excellent for bombs. It also carries 12 rockets, each of which do 1,300 damage within a 45-meter radius. Those rockets can be used to destroy aircraft as well, but hey, that's really difficult, as you probably already know. So, of course, one of the most important things in this aircraft in terms of its defensive capabilities, staying alive, if you will, is having an excellent rear turret system. And to augment that system, I have equipped Turret Stabilization 3, which has a 15% increase to the effective firing range of the turret. So that's nice, having that extra firing range. Sometimes you can start, firing on targets even before they're firing on you. Now, this aircraft has very high survivability and is resistant to critical damage and fire. To further augment that, and to make this like, a tank, I have equipped Improved Covering 3, which decreases the chance of critical damage to wings and tail by 20% and increases this aircraft's hit points by 5%. So it's nice to have that extra health. I've also equipped Reinforced Airframe 3, which decreases the chance of critical damage to engines, crew, which is important, wings and tail by 10%. It also increases aircraft hit points by an additional 15%. So we have essentially a 20% increase in this aircraft's hit points with those two upgrades. Now, in one of our final sorties, I'm going to switch to Concealing Livery, which reduces the efficiency of enemy AA and defensive gunfire by 30%, and see how that helps us. Because I have noticed this aircraft can definitely take a lot of damage from air defense turrets, and I usually make sure that as I'm flying into whatever the sector it is that I am targeting, that I take out those enemy air defense emplacements as I am coming in, and that certainly helps survivability quite a bit. Alright, in terms of pilot skills, I have the lovely and talented Marina Litviakova. And I believe that I got this pilot when I first started. I think I started a Russian line as my very first aircraft to start the game some years ago. And I got Marina at that time. And she has some special skills that she comes with, including Supernova, which increases the damage caused by bombs and rockets and their blast radius by 15%. Nice. If the aircraft is destroyed by a collision with terrain or a ground target, which, folks, I tend to do that sometimes. Yeah, sometimes I have a lack of talent flying too close to the ground, and I do tend to crash sometimes. But we won't talk about that too much. But anyway, the aircraft explodes and deals damage in the affected area equal to double the maximum number of hit points of this aircraft. So, wow, we could take out a huge target that way. Kamikaze Russian, I guess. Marina also comes with Femme Fatale, which sets a ground target on fire as a result of the continuous shooting with forward-firing weapons and hitting armored sections of the ground target. So that's really nice because, many times if we can set a ground target on fire, we can move on to some other target because it will ultimately fall to that fire. So that's really nice to have that. I've also equipped Protection Expert, which increases the effects of our improved covering, our reinforced airframe. That definitely helps 2 out of 3 of our upgrades that we have equipped. So nice synergy there with our upgrades. Alright, so in terms of rear gunner skills, I have selected Armorer, which increases the burst length of the turret by 20%, as well as Ballistics Expert, which increases the firing range of a turret by 15% and also helps our turret stabilization upgrade by 20%. In addition to that, I've selected Precision Gunner. The gunner concentrates fire in the most vulnerable sections of an enemy aircraft. The chance of causing critical damage by guns is significantly increased. Moving on to ammunition, I have equipped Universal Ammunition, which for our big cannon, of course, has a high chance of critical damage and about a medium to low chance of fire. In terms of consumables, I have equipped Automatic Engine Restarter. Now, there's no indication that this aircraft VIII's engine is particularly vulnerable, but many times we are flying very low to the ground, sometimes clipping the trees, and the last thing we need at such a low altitude where we have no time to recover is our engine going out. So that is why I think automatic engine restarter is a must for these ground attack aircraft. I have also equipped first aid kit, and I have done that because I've had many occasions when the crew suffers injury, in which case our rear turret becomes ineffective. And if we have a fighter or something that's on our tail, that is not the time we want our rear gunner to be injured. So that is why I've equipped first aid kit. And what I think is an absolute must for any ground attack aircraft is weapons cooling, and that helps us to cool down our forward firing cannons once they overheat, and gives us a lot more life with them. So I think that's a must. Okay, looking at the aircraft's specifications. This aircraft is of course a low altitude performer at 800 meters being the optimal altitude. Its rate of climb is 44 meters per second, which is, abysmal. This is not a climbing aircraft. It will stall at 100 kilometers per hour, which is actually, better than many other high-performance aircraft. I'm actually amazed that it's that low. Average time to turn 360 degrees, and that is 20 seconds. So yeah, forget about it, folks. It's like watching paint dry trying to turn this thing. So plan ahead is all I can say. Top speed at best altitude, 515 kilometers per hour. Maximum dive speed, which we don't do really any of, is 600 kilometers per hour. All right, looking at paint schemes, which, it's yeah, the Russian paint schemes, sometimes not too good. This is summer that we're looking at, winter, desert, and marine, which is maybe the best of the bunch, but the best of the bad paint schemes. If you're looking for an exciting paint scheme, the IL-20 is not going to have it. You will be very much disappointed. Okay, so what we're going to do now is head over to World of Warplanes website and use their compare aircraft tool to compare the IL-20 with its other Tier VIII ground attack aircraft peers, which should be quick because there aren't that many. So we are on World of Warplanes website using their compare aircraft tool, and I have lined up 3 Tier VIII ground attack aircraft to compare against the IL-20. And first up we have the SNCAC NC-1070, which I believe is a French ground attack aircraft. And then we have the IL-10M. Looking first at gun armaments, we see that the IL-20 outclasses both the NC-1070 and the IL-10M in terms of its gun armaments. If you take the cannons of the IL-20, and there are 2 of them, 257 millimeter cannons, and you add that damage up, they can do a total of 1,000 damage per second. In contrast, the NC 1070 can only do 680 damage per second with all of its collective gun armaments. The IL-10M is only capable of doing 680 damage per second as well. So certainly the 1000 damage per second of the IL-20 outclasses both of those aircraft. In terms of bombs and rockets, again, the IL-20 significantly outclasses both the NC-1070 and the IL-10M. In that regard, if you take the bombs and the rockets of the IL-20 and you look at the damage those can cause collectively, their total damage potential is 29,600. In comparison, the NC-1070 can only muster 22,400 and the IL-10M 16,000. So clearly, the IL-20 is going to do a lot more ground, damage with its bombs and rockets than either the NC-1070 or the IL-10M. In terms of survivability, the IL-20, again outclassing both the NC-1070 and the IL-10M. Looking at top speed at best altitude, the NC-1070 does have a 65 km per hour advantage over the IL-20, whereas the IL-10 has a 15 km per hour disadvantage as compared to the IL-20. But honestly, the max speed is not all that important except from getting from point A to point B on the map. Average time to turn 360 degrees. This is where the NC-1070 and the IL-10M do have significant advantages over the IL-20. Many times when you get to a sector, you're going to have other ground attack aircraft there as your competition. And if they can outturn you, they can get their guns on you sooner, and that could spell certain death for the IL-20. The NC-1070 has a 3.3 second advantage. The IL-10M has a whopping 6.7 second advantage. So huge turning advantages for those aircraft. Optimum airspeed, NC-1070, the IL-10M, greater kilometers per hour airspeed than the IL-20. 32 kilometers per hour for the NC-1070 and 99 kilometers per hour for the IL-10M. Stall speed. The IL-20 will stall prior to both the NC-1070 and the IL-10M. That is an important factor because many times you are going very slow as you're approaching the ground targets so that you can put maximum firepower on those targets without having to make a second pass. Optimum altitude, all three of these aircraft are the same in that regard. Rate of climb, which is pretty much irrelevant for a ground attack aircraft, much better on the NC-1070 and the IL-10M, but who cares? Okay, last and certainly not least, we have the IL-20 as compared to the Messerschmitt Me-329. In terms of gun armaments, the IL-20, again significantly outclassing the Me-329. The guns on the Me-329 collectively do 800 damage as compared to the 1,000 collective damage of the guns on the IL-20. Bombs and rockets, again the IL-20 significantly outclassing the Me-329. The Me-329 does not have rockets, it only has bombs, and collectively its bombs do 10,000 in damage as compared to the collective 29,600 damage of the IL-20. So that's a huge difference, of course. IL-20, greater hit points by 400 over the ME-329. The ME-329 is significantly faster than the IL-20 by 135 kilometers per hour. Maximum dive speed, again, the ME-329 faster, but who cares, right? It's a ground attack aircraft, not a huge amount of diving going on there. Average time to turn 360 degrees, the Messerschmitt ME-329 has a 3.3 second advantage over the IL-20. And I can tell you that, if you get in one of those, it's like two whales in a turning dogfight, but if you get in one of those turning dogfights with the ME-329, it's probably going to win because it's just so much more maneuverable than the IL-20. Optimum airspeed, the ME-329 is faster by 90 plus kilometers per hour. Stall speed, the ME-329 will stall prior to the IL-20. Optimum altitude, IL-20 has a 150 meter advantage, but who cares? They're ground attack aircraft again. Rate of climb, again, who cares? But the ME-329 has a 21 meter per second advantage over the IL-20. So basically, to summarize all of that, with the exception of turning 360 degrees, time to turn 360 degrees, the IL-20 is the king. No question about it. If you're looking to do the most damage to ground targets, the IL-20 is your plane. All right, so I hope that helps with the IL-20 in context with its Tier VIII ground attack peers. Okay, so having reviewed my build for this aircraft, having gone over its specifications, and having compared it to its Tier VIII peers, let's head into some battles and see how it actually performs. I think you'll be impressed. Okay, so we will be fighting in the IL-20 over the Albion Iron Will Theater of Operation. And we will, of course, head to the command center first and get that secured.
Show me what you can do, pilots. Let's roll.
We have a 30-second engine boost. And that should get us there pretty quickly. And we will be first taking out the anti-aircraft emplacements because I have found that this aircraft seems to be particularly vulnerable to damage from anti-aircraft emplacements. So we'll just take care of those right away. Right, and then we will get to work on this main structure here. Okay. Take out these. Oh. Yeah. I did take out the anti-aircraft emplacement. Yeah, sometimes I play a little too close to the vest when it comes to getting near the ground targets. had a heavy fighter back there. Doesn't seem to be doing anything to us at the moment. Alright, finish off this structure here. There we go. And we will try not to crash again, but no promises. There we go. Okay, finished what we started there. And now we will head over to the garrison.
Be advised, the enemy is concentrating forces near
And we're
the
going to
airfield.
stay as low as we can in that process, because the higher we go, the more vulnerable we are. We can be attacked from, you know, a multitude of directions if we are higher. Whereas if we are low to the ground, they're more on our turf. And it kind of eliminates the angles of approach by any enemy fighters. The only downside to it is, of course, we don't have the best of angles when we first get to our actual target, but, you know, it is what it is. Alright, let's see here. I'd love to be able to take out this facility, but I'm not going to be able to do it. Couldn't get turned around in time. Yeah, we'll take out this anti-aircraft emplacement here. Take care of that. Swing around. Let's see if we can finish off something here before we... Oh, there we go. And so we'll head over here to the plant. Plant, mining facility, whatever it is. We are a little bit lower on health than I would like, but it is what it is at this point.
Receiving reports about rapidly deteriorating weather
Let's
conditions.
see if we can do
Support
something
will be
with this.
unable to reach you. Do you read me? Over.
Go. It is not easy to hit aerial targets with those cannons, believe me.
There's a heavy storm here. Unable to proceed. Returning to base. Do you copy?
Looks like it's coming again, but I'm going to focus on this plant over here. These bots. Fake talking to each other. Got a couple of fighters over here, which is not the best news for us, but oh, we got shot one down one of the fighters. That's good. We needed that to happen big time.
Well done. The plant is ours.
Very
Victory
nice.
is in sight. Keep it up.
We are barely hanging on to life here, but we're still going. I am very hesitant to come over here to the airfield because that's just a hotbed of activity. And if I get there, there's going to be a good chance I'm going to get shot down, but you know, we'll give it the old college try. Oh, wow. Just need a little bit more. We can take this airfield here. That ought to do it.
We have complete control of the skies. Way to go.
Now if I could heal.
Victory is ours. We're waiting for your return.
Not necessary. I was going to say if I could heal up, then I could keep going. But turned out to be an academic discussion. Alright, so we'll head back here, take a look at the after action summary, and see how we did overall. Okay, so 10 air targets destroyed, did almost 71,000 in damage to ground targets, destroyed 3 aerial targets, doing over 1,500 damage to aerial targets. We captured 3 sectors. And let's see here, we were destroyed only once, which was due to our own incompetence in terms of flying. And let's see here. Over 11,700 combat points, almost the top grade. And of course, #1 position on the team. Let's see, we had a bot, ME265 in the second spot, doing 27,000 in damage. And then on the enemy team, there was a human, IL-20, so our same aircraft, that did 50,000 damage, destroying 8 ground targets, and no aerial targets destroyed. Alright, so I think that was a very good result there for the IL-20, our bad flying aside. But nonetheless, let's head into another battle and see if it can do it again. Alright, for our second sortie in the IL-20, we will be fighting over the Plateau Decisive Hour Theater of Operation. We will be headed first to the, let's see here, we'll head over to the air base to the northwest there, and from there we'll either head on to the garrison or
Show me what you can do, pilot.
to the garrison at
Let's
center.
roll.
This 30-second boost is really nice to be able to get where we need to get to in a hurry. Okay, we'll head here to the center here. See, we are taking it on the chin from these anti-aircraft emplacements. They do hurt. Shooting us all the way from across the way. And we'll get over here and get healed up. And then we'll head on to their garrison over here, which will no doubt be unlocked by the time we get there. Hopefully we'll have our bombs back too, or just about to have them back. And of course, you know, if you find yourself with just a couple of missiles left or a couple of rockets left, you know, just shoot them off, and that way you can respawn all of your rockets, or drop, you know, the one hanging bomb so that you can get all your bombs back. Once I set these ground targets on fire, there's not any need to do more. Because they will just burn up. Looks like someone got it. Okay, so what we'll do now is head on to their airfield. And that is a very long trek to get there. But we will do it. Yeah, it takes forever to get over to this airfield. Hopefully it will still be unlocked by the time we get there.
The airfields are ours. We've got the enemy contained.
Okay, looks like we got the airfield. I've got one bomb left. I'm tempted to just drop it. Yeah, I'll just drop it. It'll be respawned by the time we get to the center here. we do have plenty of rockets. And of course we have this big mega gun. I don't know if we can hit it from here. Oh, don't crash. So we're just taking out the air defense turrets.
We have complete control of the skies. Way to go.
Excellent.
Victory is in sight.
So,
keep it up.
don't know that we have too much to do right now. So we have everything.
Great job today. We'll be waiting for you back home.
Alright, well that was pretty quick, folks. Number one spot there. 3 chevrons on the grade rank. And let's head back, take a look at the after action summary. I think we're going to find we weren't in combat for all that long. Okay, yeah, so we were in combat for only 6 minutes. A good portion of which we were just flying around trying to get to the next sector to capture. We did capture 3 sectors, destroyed 1 aircraft, looks like, destroyed 8 ground targets, doing over 45,000 in damage, over 7,000 in combat points. So another good result there for the IL-20. So I think what we're going to do at this point is make one change on our upgrades and see how that helps us or not. And I'm going to select Concealing Livery, which reduces the efficiency of enemy AA and defensive gunfire by 30%. So choose that and see how we do in a battle with that. So let's do one more here. Okay, so for our last sortie in the IL-20, we'll be fighting over the Alpine Gamut, Snow and Ashes Theater of Operations.
You are approaching the area of combat operations. Be ready.
We'll be headed to the mining plant first, and then either to the forward air strip or maybe to the military base, depending upon how things are going with the enemy team.
Pilots, get ready for action. Let's go.
All right, here we go. Very nice of him to mention that. Always feels good when people are enjoying what you're doing. Try not to hit a falling smokestack. Alright, let's see here. We've got one more bomb left, so let's see, we'll drop it right here. Right in the center, hopefully. Bam,
Good job,
there we go.
pilots. Now we control the plant.
Alright. I think we'll head on to the airfield over here. There's doesn't seem to be much in the way of enemy action over there right now. We have a fighter up there. Bot. Don't know who else there. Take out this gun emplacement here. Okay. Got the gun emplacement. And we'll swing around here. Whoa. Something's shooting at us. Let's see if we can't take out this little compound here. Got some rockets back, so that'll help. Let's see here. Excellent. Okay, on we go to the other mining plant. So this is a good time for us to take stock of our weaponry. We have used almost half of our rockets, but we still have a good bit left, and we have both of our bombs. So I think we'll just hold on to the rockets that we have, rather than dump them. If we had any fewer, then I would say let's dump them and let them
the enemy is launching
respawn.
rocket strikes on our complex. Try to neutralize the enemy military base.
Alright. So it doesn't look like there's one aircraft here. What is that, a fighter? Could be waiting for us to show up on the scene. What's going on over there? Got a fighter coming in behind us, possibly. Let's try not to crash. We're just staying as low to the ground as we can, eliminating angles of attack. And we're going to save our bombs for this center plant structure. See if we can't turned around here. And the concealing livery seems to be helping in terms of the amount of damage we're taking from grounded targets, ground defense installations. Or maybe they're high altitude. Oh, we didn't get everything there. Wow, I would have thought 2 bombs would do it. Finish off these 2 targets here. Plant complex is pretty huge.
They've almost got us.
Oh. We're taking pretty heavy fire here. I don't think we're gonna make it through another pass, but we did get the plant. So, yay us. So we'll head on to their airstrip. I'm almost tempted to crash this bad boy here. But I don't know. We'll give it a try. If we get near the squall line,
Receiving reports about rapidly deteriorating weather conditions.
let's do what we
Will be
can.
unable to reach you. Do you read me? Over.
And go from there. We've got all of our rockets, so let's just empty these rockets. Yeah, I figured. Okay, well, I guess he solved the problem for us, didn't he? Alright, so we'll head back over here to the other plant.
We cannot support you any longer. The storm is too heavy.
We have up there
Do you copy? Over.
a couple of fighters, I guess.
You've done what you could. Go back to base.
Okay, well, unfortunately a defeat. However, I think that the IL-20 performed quite well. Almost top grade rank and over 10,000 in combat points. #1 position on the team. 79 sections of ground targets destroyed. 3 sectors captured. It would probably be unreasonable to ask for more than that. Take a look here at the after action summary and see how things look overall. Curious to see how much damage in ground targets we did. Okay, so 58,000 in damage to ground targets, 11 ground targets destroyed, 1 aerial target, and we did that in 7 minutes time spent in battle. Now, a good bit of that, of course, was traveling from one location to another. Certainly a long trip from the airfield over to the other mining plant. So I think, overall, I think the aircraft performed very well in this match. So the closest, let's see here, closest ground attack aircraft was a bot that did 20,000 in damage. On the enemy team, it was an IL-10M, which did 18,000 in damage. So there you have it, folks. The IL-20. I would say it's an outstanding ground attack aircraft. Excellent rear defensive firepower. Difficult to take out, aerial targets with the main guns. But other than that, an excellent aircraft. Excellent at what it does best. So I hope that you have really enjoyed this video. I certainly have enjoyed bringing it to you. And if you get an opportunity to fly the IL-20, I hope you have great success in it.